I don't think there's anything that's certain in the world at the moment. There's a lot that can change, there's a lot that can happen. And I think that is in the back of your mind every time I'm going into work.
Adult trauma, ETA 5 minutes.
We've got an assault coming in. He's stabbed multiple times.
5-year-old hit by a car, dragged for 3 metres, degloved the right side of their scalp. Code red.
They're now saying partial amputation with a traumatic cardiac arrest.
This is just disastrous.
Travel by cow. I can't make that up.
Oh, it's a proper day today, isn't it?
St George's, London, one of Britain's busiest A&E departments, under more pressure than ever.
What are you doing?
It does sometimes feel like a battlefield, and it feels like a losing battle at times as well.
You need to calm yourself down.
I have 10 traumas and absolutely no space.
25-year-old jump from a 3rd floor balcony.
This is the point where we can make a difference.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
A place where life,
Best place to make friends, A&E.
love, and loss
Scariest thing in my life. I thought I lost it.
unfold every single day.
A life is not just a singular thing. Things that happen to you have a huge effect on the people around you as well.
You scare me so much, you know that?
All the patients you're about to see were treated in just one 24-hour period.
I see behaviour every day that reaffirms my belief in the inherent goodness of people.
It's all a bit of a shock, isn't it?
And I think I'm incredibly fortunate to work in that environment.
It's a lot to take in. He's the love of my life.
He'd always had a bike, was a fairly regular cycle to work person. Started to own more bikes and go off on cross-country cycle rides on his own or with his mates. He likes the countryside. He likes his surroundings. It helps him to clear his mind, particularly when he goes on his own. That's when he did his thinking. He set off that morning on a bike, fit and active, happy. I just suddenly started to wonder where he was. The phone went and it was Neil. I must have said what's happened and he said, I don't know, they found me. They just found me in the road. I said, are you all right? And he said, I don't know.
St George's recess.
53-year-old Neil was found unconscious by the side of the road following a bicycle accident.
Adult male trauma call, ETA 12 minutes.
What was the story?
It's a trauma transfer.
His injuries are so severe, he's being transferred from his local hospital to the emergency department at St George's.
If they are a trauma patient with multiple injuries, it is best to look after them in a major trauma centre. People involved in these bike crashes can come in with head injuries. They can often get problems with their neck, chest problems, bleeding in the belly or in the pelvis as well.
A lady from the ambulance crew took the phone off him and said, can you come to the hospital? I think I was still in a bit of a state of shock. A little bit numb.
Right, who's going to give us that?
So this is Neil, a 53-year-old who came off his bicycle and was found on the middle of the road. We're unsure if he's taken a trip or been hit by a car. Brought to Croydon with concerns about the left side of his chest, reduced air entry and also reduced chest wall movement, a left-sided clavicle fracture, and the significant injuries are left-sided upper rib fractures and a 20% hemothorax and also pneumothorax.
Hemothorax means there is blood filling the chest cavity, so there is not space for the lung to expand fully, so it can cause problems with your breathing, and that can be life-threatening.
Hello, sir. Another one of the doctors, Josh from the A&E Radius. Now, how is your pain at the moment?
Not bad.
Whereabouts is the pain? In the side of the chest there. Okay. Our main concerns at the moment is most of the stuff on this left-hand side of your chest. There's evidence that you'd bled into the space between the chest and the chest wall, and there's also evidence that there was a bit of bleeding in the lung itself as well. Do you feel short of breath at all? You do feel short of breath, okay.
With a hemothorax, if you're continuing to bleed into the chest cavity, then you're losing your blood volume. So that's why we need to get a CT scan, which will give us an in-depth look of all the things that are going on within the chest cavity.
Okay, so from primary survey, as we know, got the chest drain in situ, and then we'll get a repeat X-ray.
If you don't do something about it quickly, can actually lead to a patient dying.
They're ready in the CT scanner.
Ready for scan.
It was just a normal day, and it took a while for me to compute that this is quite serious and this is going to affect us for a long time.
Just spin you around, love.
Cyclist Neil was found unconscious at the roadside after coming off his bike. He has a punctured lung and is bleeding into his chest.
If you've had a significant chest trauma and you've got blood in the chest or air where it shouldn't be, it is possible that in the space between the lung and the chest wall is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. That can then lead to a cardiac arrest.
Oh, slow, deep breath, and we're going to move you when you exhale, all right? Ready, steady, slide. That's it, you did really well. Let's pop this pillow in a bit further. Is that all right for a couple of minutes? I'm so sorry, love, I know it's horrible. You're doing really, really well.
Now, if we can, we would like both your hands up above your head. If you can manage, see how you do.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Thank you.
That's all right.
The day we met was the end of 1984. We were at the same art college. It was called Central School of Art at the time, became Central St Martin's. He was 2 years above me. I'd seen him around, but there was one particular occasion where he helped my flatmate to find me. When I said to her, "How did you find me?" She said, "Oh, this very nice gentleman here," and he was beaming from ear to ear. I think it was the first time I really sort of clocked him. He looked like my favourite pop star at the time, so that was good. There's a guy called Stuart Adamson. He was in a band called Big Country. In the last week of my first term, somebody passed me a little note inviting me out to a concert by the guy who he looked like. I found ourselves sitting opposite each other in the Student Union bar a couple of days later. And I sent somebody else over with the note and just said, "Go and ask that guy if he sent the note." And he tried to say it was a mate of his. I knew it was him.
It's okay. I know. Just have a drink. Just have a drink, and then you go close to Neil.
Neil's wife, Kate, has arrived at St George's after travelling from their home in South London.
It's okay. That's okay. That's okay. Sorry.
How long was it before he proposed to you?
Years. No, a long time. 9 years? We'd had an argument. It was his way of making up after an argument at somebody else's wedding. I said yes, but I thought I'll check with him in the morning whether he really meant it. So I said, you know, I do remember what you said. Do you remember what you said? Yes. Do you want the chance to change your mind? No. That's great, let's do it. We got married in St Paul's Cathedral, not in the upstairs at St Paul's. Neil's father, he was an army man and he had a CBE, and that entitled him and his children to use the chapel. And so we decided we would make the most of that. I can remember it as an intense thing. I was quite emotional that everybody was there, but the actual point of going through that ceremony, I completely zoned out from everybody else. It felt like just me and him. There have been many times since then that I've looked back on that day and remembered it for the lovely day that it was. And it's really helped me to get over problems, obstacles, difficulties along the way.
Stop doing that to your eye. I said stop poking it.
27-year-old George has come to A&E with his girlfriend Cyan after injuring his eye on his way home from a night out.
Stupid Blanche. Stupid me.
You were racing me.
Why? I don't know.
What do you have to win? You know?
We've had a few drinks, so we were rather giggly and excited to get back home. And I might have instigated a slight race.
I was winning. I won. But it was dark. And there was a branch that was going right across the path, whipped me right in the eye.
And he just goes, ow, ow. And he goes feeling around the side of the bush and he plucks out a twig.
What happened, greybeard?
Would you say you're competitive?
Yes, very, very, yeah. Anything I do, I have to always win.
He is like a serious Scrabble player. He's the kind of guy, like he studies the two-letter words. He's always claimed, I've never lost a game of Scrabble.
I almost win 99% of the time. And I say 99% of the time because I actually lost the other day for the first time in a few years.
I thrashed him. He wouldn't look me in the face either. He was shouting at the Scrabble board. I keep pulling these bad tiles. I know he doesn't really take it that seriously, but it just makes me laugh when he gets so like worked up over Scrabble.
Let's hope I don't get an eye patch-shaped tan line.
That would be so funny. I hope you're perfectly fine, but I really want you to have an eye patch. Or maybe just a consolation eye patch, like nothing's wrong, but we'll give you the patch anyway.
You've been a brave boy, eye patch.
Yeah, exactly.
St. George's Reeses. Okay.
A 40-year-old man is being rushed to St George's after suffering severe chest pain during a game of golf.
Adults priority, ETA 10 minutes.
The man's wife was at home at the time of the incident and is on her way to the hospital.
The first call I got on the golf club tell me Michael got a heart attack at the course on the hole 13. Big shock for me. I'm thinking about what's happened to Michael and then what's happened to my kids because I'm alone here. Nobody can help me.
If somebody has had a heart attack, Sometimes you have very minimal information to go on and you need to piece together the bits that you do have. Have they actually been having crushing chest pain? They may say that it's radiating into their arms or into their jaw. They'll often look quite unwell with it. They'll look sweaty, they'll look clammy.
Hello. Into 3, please.
So this is Michael, 40 years old. Been playing golf this afternoon. He's had an onset of pins and needles down his arms and his legs, and then across his chest as well, which is why they called us. Initially, he had a pulse of like 60, and then literally out of nowhere, it's over 200.
Anybody with a heart rate going along as fast as that, they need to be assessed quite quickly.
Just putting monitoring on, and we'll do an ECG.
Your heart rate is going much faster than we'd expect at the moment, so around 160 beats per minute. What we need to figure out here is whether or not the heart rate is going fast and that's what caused you the chest pain, or whether or not you had something go on with your heart and that was what caused the chest pain, and now you've got a fast rhythm.
Doctors need to carry out urgent blood tests to find out what is causing Michael's rapid heart rate.
How are we feeling?
Feeling very lightheaded.
Are you having chest pain now?
Yeah.
Or was it a dull ache, or was it like a sharp pain?
Dull ache.
Dull ache, OK. Right, I'm just going to have a little listen to your chest.
There are a number of causes for such a fast heart rate. One of them is a heart attack. So that's why we need to act quickly.
I like Chinese now. I never used to.
No,
So I like warm crackers, duck with the roll and hoisin sauce.
Well, I'm hungry now.
You
do like it?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, my head.
Would you like some chicken chow mein?
Really no. But thank you for asking.
So has anybody said anything about whether they investigate why you might have fallen off?
Neil was found unconscious by the side of the road after coming off his bike.
You don't think you did? Blacked out for any reason?
No.
You don't think you did?
Doctors have received the initial results of his CT scans.
Yeah, so he's got a left hemopneumothorax, bilateral contusions worse than the left, and multiple rib fractures with a flail on the left.
A flail chest means that you have got multiple fractured ribs which are next to each other. It can affect how you breathe, because that part of the chest wall where the fractures are will move in a different direction to the rest of the chest. We know that these are patients that can deteriorate, so sometimes they will be admitted to an intensive care unit.
I've got a referral for you, please. Chap's name is Neil.
While specialist chest surgeons decide whether Neil needs to be sent to intensive care, orthopaedic doctors are assessing his other injuries.
Try to lift your leg straight up. Okay.
Well, we've got 2 children. Louis is 17 and Connie is 21.
Do you remember the day you found out you were pregnant?
Yeah, he told me because I gave him the stick so that he could look at it. Yeah, I mean, before I looked at it. Okay, take that, wait 2 minutes, look at it, tell me what it says. So he told me, just by smiling, big smile. My daughter was born by an emergency C-section. When I woke up, he was waving her around in front of my face. It was quite funny. And she had big eyes, so I was gradually coming around and I could see these big eyes for somebody was wafting her in front of me. So he had more to do with her in the early hours of her life than I did. I was aware that was a nice thing for him, although I think he was in a state of shock.
Any pain here? In your neck?
No.
Okay.
We found it quite difficult to adjust to being a family. I don't mind saying that. It wasn't easy. I think we were a good couple but not overly dependent on each other. And then all of a sudden, when you become a family, you need one another. I think found babies very difficult. He didn't understand what it was like for me because I wasn't working. I was a full-time parent for a while. I think we took a long time to adjust. We've had a few things we've had to deal with that did sort of set us apart a little bit. Times when it's been really difficult.
What about your back? Have you got any pain in your back?
No.
Not really. Okay.
No, I'm fine now.
Neil is the youngest of three. There is a gap of between 7 and 8 years between Neil and his older brothers. Stephen was quite a grounding influence on him. He was the sensible one. He was a good family man, had a lovely little family, good friend, good mentor. Neil certainly looked up to him, as did I. Neil started running because of his brother. There was a Nottingham half marathon. They would do that together. I think any time they could get together to run a race, they would. It was 2005. I came in from work one day. There was a message on the answer phone from Neil's dad. And he was really upset. Stephen had been running. He was running with a friend. He had a heart attack when he died. He was just dazed. Dazed, could hardly talk to me. Didn't want anyone else to be around. Could hardly bear to have the children around. You know, I made myself available to talk whenever you're ready, but I think he preferred not to. He was very angry. Perhaps I wished he would need me more. I think he did a lot of sobbing in private.
If you want anything else, let me know. I don't know why I'm so excited to go to M&S. I'm slowly becoming my nan.
George is waiting to be seen after injuring his eye on a branch.
And I went into the M&S
You had a cup
cafe.
of tea in an M&S cafe.
Wait for it.
You're not even on your
Wait
pension.
for it. Wait for it. I'm not even done yet.
Okay.
Went to go and have a cup of tea, and they were doing afternoon tea, so I thought, screw it, I'll have afternoon tea. So I sat in the M&S cafe around other elderly couples.
OAPs, yeah.
Eating afternoon tea on my own. And it was then when I looked at myself and thought, Jesus Christ, George, what are you doing with your life?
I'd come out of a relationship like the year before, and it had taken me a while to get over it. I was stuck in a bit of a negative cycle about it. I'd lost my confidence big time.
I had a string of some really rough relationships, a few of them of which I'd really kind of put out a lot of myself for. No matter how destructive the relationship was, I think I was still trying to rectify it. In the process, I think I sacrificed a lot of my wants, my needs, my personality. I just didn't know what to do to kind of enjoy life.
Oh, I had a dream we went to Legoland. Not me. No, I think I was being kidnapped.
And
Kidnapped and taken to Legoland is not being kidnapped. Sorry.
well, I didn't want to be with the people. We met, it's going to be nearly 2 years ago. I work as a model. I was on the train, on the way to castings. I'm reading the book on the tube.
Bill Bryson, can't remember exactly which one.
Hello, come through.
I was just like, wow, she's stunning.
It was probably a little bit of the same feeling I feel when I kind of see there's a cute puppy on board. It's like, oh, look at that.
You try, obviously you don't want to stare. You don't want to come across like a creep.
And we weren't staring at each other, it wasn't weird like that. But it was kind of, I think I glanced and then I wasn't sure if he was looking at me and probably vice versa. So we kept kind of like, oh, are we looking at each other? Is that happening? Is that a thing?
Lovely. Okay, talk me through what brings you in today.
I got hit in the face with a branch.
Okay,
as I
when was
running.
this?
Last night.
Yeah.
And it got me right in the eye.
This is why running is dangerous for you.
In the dark.
Oh no.
I noticed he's scribbling down in this notebook.
As I went to get off the tube, I bent down to pretend to pick something up and just said, I think you dropped this.
And it's his phone number. I slid it in my book and, had a bit of a smile on my face. Well, okay.
I'd like to say it was really cool, but my legs were like jelly. It was so nerve-wracking.
Forgot about it until I got back home, I think, that evening, opened my book again and out falls George's number.
Have you still got the note?
Mm-hmm. I keep it in my wallet.
So we have a little eye room, which we're going to use to basically have a little look though, and see if there is anything that we see, then we'll get it out. Follow me then, George.
Right.
Let's pop this under your tongue first.
Michael is in resus after collapsing with chest pain during a round of golf. Doctors are worried that he may have had a heart attack.
I notice you're on lots of medications for your blood pressure?
Yeah.
Yeah, OK. Yeah. Have you ever had any problems with your heart at all in the past?
The last similar attack was in November.
OK.
My consultant, he sent me for X-rays and ECG. It all turned up clear.
OK.
Michael's wife, Nora, and their baby daughter, Rayhana, have arrived at St George's.
I found your chair.
Hiya. And who's this little one as well? Hiya. Hello there. Is your daddy giving Mummy and you a scare?
Yeah.
Don't you worry.
I was born in Malaysia, in Kuala Lumpur. My paternal grandfather was a refugee from China and started everything from scratch in Malaya at that time. I was brought up as a Buddhist. We used to get pocket money by helping our grandparents in the paddy fields or in the orchards. And the back of my bedroom was actually a jungle, so that's why we go chasing cobras around our back garden. During my teens, there was quite a lot of conflicts in that area. Vietnam was still recovering from the Vietnam War in the 90s. We still had landmine victims there. The Malaysian Red Cross had a camp for refugees. I wanted to be a doctor, so I joined them and I started my volunteer work. We met at a youth training camp that she was one of the members in my unit.
We learn how to help people in the accident, how to survive in the jungle. He's just a very nice guy, funny guy, very friendly, especially with my family, very kind person.
Who's this?
Second one.
Oh, hello. How are you? Oh.
We never dated on our own because she was from a Muslim family. I was always with a group of friends. We went for dinner, we went for a movie. And if I remember correctly, her younger sister was her chaperone for the date at that time.
Just Married. That's the first movie we watched together.
I decided that was it, she was the one. But at that time, the Malaysian government gave me a scholarship to study in the UK. From then on, we were thinking, how are we going to make this long-distance relationship work?
Hello. Hi. How are you? Are you shy now? Are you? What do you want now? Oh, you shake my hand. Yeah.
All my friends from the Red Cross. Is that Michael proposed you? No, you're just friend. Are you sure? Yeah.
I had one of my friends going back to Malaysia. He passed the ring to her during a training camp.
They give me the box, small box. I'm very, very nervous to open. And then when I open, that's the gold ring with the diamonds, seven diamonds. And then he called me, you got the ring? Yeah, I got the ring. So, what you want to say? In my country, if you're non-Muslim or married to Muslim people, you must convert to Muslim. You can't just marry like that because that's the law in Malaysia. I don't know what to do at that time.
I just wanted to give you all a bit of an update of what's been going on. Okay.
Sure.
Your heart rate is slowing down a bit with the medication that we've given you, but it is in this rhythm, this atrial fibrillation. It is an irregular rhythm. We might need to give you some more medication to get that rate down a little bit lower. I don't want you worrying yourself at all. I just want you to think about getting yourself better, okay?
Okay.
Hello. It's quite an interesting story when you listen to it. She'd done 40 Ks round Richmond Park, and then outside her house fell off her back. Broken her wrist. You heard. I know. Not funny. Not funny. Bye. Bye.
You're sweaty.
Cyclist Neil and his wife Kate are waiting to find out whether Neil needs to be transferred to intensive care.
Let me give you more of the sponges. Yeah.
I think losing his brother was just the start of us having to find out what each other really, really needed and wanted from the other.
Thank you again. Thank you again.
I've come to really appreciate his softer side. But he's become very supportive. He's found plenty of ways to help. It's usually just by listening. It's taken us a long time to understand each other. It's grown up together, isn't it? We've grown up together. And at times we felt like we were veering off, but there were always then times that come back together.
Hello, Recess.
Specialist chest surgeons have now reviewed Neil's scans.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Hello. We're going to be speaking to the cardiothoracics doctors to see how we're going to manage you now. We'll need to be keeping a close eye on you for a bit because of that blood that's in the lung as well. But that we need to put you up on our intensive care unit. Okay?
Multiple chest injuries, that can be life-threatening. These patients need to be monitored in a more high care environment and might need to have support with their breathing, and that might be in the form of being intubated with a tube.
So what are we going to do?
So bloods have gone for trops. He's had some metoprolol, he's had some magnesium. His potassium was 3.2, so he's having a bit of fluids with some potassium.
Doctors are worried that Michael may have suffered a heart attack. Following a series of blood tests, a specialist doctor has now been called to assess him.
Any history of heart attacks in the family?
Yeah.
Yeah. On your mum's side?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
It's the legal requirement of Malaysia. And if you want to marry a Muslim, you must become a Muslim.
I tell him, okay, if you want to convert to Muslim, that's not for me to push you to convert to Muslim. That's your decision.
In my belief, God is God, whether in Christianity or in Buddhism. So I became a Muslim.
I'm very proud he been converted to Muslim. But it's a big shock to Michael's family, especially for his own parents, because in their family he the oldest son.
So, can I have a listen to your heart and your lungs?
Yeah, sure.
You sit forward.
The big day, the big reception, about nearly 2,000 people turned up.
And sit back.
My father being a former member of parliament, we had various dignitaries and all that all turning up with their family.
The royal families come, little bit shocked, doesn't know.
So it was a special moment.
I'm just going to go sit and write my notes, okay?
Yeah,
I'll
sure.
speak to the cardiologist, try and get some advice about what's best to try and bring your heart rate down, bearing in mind you normally have the atenolol now.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Doctors now have the results of Michael's blood tests.
Hi, guys. Now, your blood tests have come back, and one of them, called your troponin, is elevated. Now, the troponin can be elevated if your heart rate's been going very fast for a while.
Yeah.
Or it can be elevated if there's been any damage to the heart muscle from a heart attack. Because you did have that episode of a bit of chest discomfort, I'd like to treat it as if it did come from the heart.
Michael will now be taken to a cardiac ward, so specialist doctors can establish the cause of the problem with his heart.
2004, I come here. Very, very hard feeling, a bit upset. Left my younger sister and my parents behind, far, far away from me. Come here, March. When the first time I saw the snow, I'm very excited. I remember the first time out, I wearing 3 layers trousers, 5 layers shirt.
We've been married now for 12 and a half years and have 2 children. Well, she means the life to me, really. She's sort of my companion, my friend. She's the one that's got to bear everything for me. At the end of the day, she and the children are the love of my life, really.
So there we go, small amount, 1 centimetre into the left lower eyelid, 4 times a day for 5 days, and then you discard anything else.
Tests on George's eye have revealed a scratch on his cornea.
give me 5 minutes or so, just because I've got to get to a logged-on computer.
Okay.
And then I'll just do your referral letter and give that to you. So just bear with me.
Why is it coming out my nose?
Because all the sinuses have linked.
The first date went really well, but it was the second date, I think, that really stood out.
There was a meteor shower that night, and we basically decided that we were gonna go and watch it. Went to Wimbledon Common and walked right into the middle of it when it's dark, and we just lay on the ground and looked at the stars.
And the biggest sort of like shooting star went past, and we were like,
How she went into the middle of the common on a dark winter's night with someone she'd only met once. I mean, I don't know. That's the sort of person she is.
We've got some that's going to come out now. Yep, there we go. Fine, lovely. So, tip your head back, open your eye really, really wide, and then it's just that in there.
Awesome. Yeah.
We had a lot of things in common, a lot of geeky things in common, which is always nice because I've kept the geeky side of me repressed for a while.
It's so fun with him. Doing silly things and making forts and playing with Lego, which we do a lot.
Have you grown together?
We might have regressed together. The fact that I wasn't building forts and playing with Lego when I met him. Play is so important, I think, in any sort of relationship. Just to kind of let yourself go, really. Be silly and make mistakes and joke around. I think we've tried to be adult with each other and say we need to be adults together too. It's not always going to be super high, but when it's good, it's great, and you enjoy that.
Thank you very much. You were nice and helpful. And you were nice and helpful and friendly.
That's what I'm here for.
Thank you. Okay.
No, it's Poundland. Go get an eye patch for £1.
Okay.
I should do that and drink Moors and Frosty and you come back.
Thank you very much.
No worries, guys. Lovely to meet you. Take care. Bye-bye.
She means everything. She's just the most amazing person I've ever met, and I want to spend time with her always.
In very true sense, he's my partner. But I don't want to say forever, just because I have no control over that. I see me with George now, and I would love now to be forever.
I've got your phone, yeah. What do you want to look at? Oh, you want the score.
What would your advice be for a couple who are about to embark on a lifetime together?
I think manage your expectations. The cracks in the walls don't matter. Doesn't matter if there's a few weeds in the garden, you know, actually doesn't matter.
Your numbers are stable. You ready to go? Yeah?
Keep smiling, keep laughing. Don't lose your sense of humour. It won't always be fabulous. Sometimes it might be rubbish. And other times, you know you can't bear to be without each other. I think as time's gone on, I think that's how we feel most of the time now. We don't want to be without each other.
I'm thinking about what's happened to Michael after this. Is it being okay? Is it being laid down for life in the bed? Michael getting better. Just wait for the operation.
For 3 months afterwards, I was very shaky. It's made me a little bit more cautious about how I proceed with my life and even crossing roads and things like that. It just makes you very grateful for literally every breath you take. Kate was fantastic. She's my other half in every sense of it. It's fair to say without her I'd be somewhat lost and rudderless, I think.
I caught my ear on a chair and it like ripped my piercing and we think the ball's still inside it.
And I said, Mum, are you okay? And then she was like, oh, please, it hurts. It's like my worst nightmare.
Sepsis can turn out to be a multi-organ failure and eventually can lead to death.
He was asking me if Mommy's going to be okay, and I said, all we have to do is pray.
Oh.